we watched the first episode, her and her mom, and she was like, and it's just, the girl doesn't look like Selena. She looks white. I mean, it's honestly, the show's whitewashed. And those were the exact words to come out of her mouth. She said the show is whitewashed. And this is someone whose culture it's supposed to represent.
Right.
So, I get it. I get it.
Listen.
When we see Cleopatra played by Elizabeth Taylor, we know. Cleopatra was never supposed to be played by Elizabeth Taylor.
Look what they did to our girl Nina Simone.
That just breaks my heart, because that should have been everything. But when she said that, I was like, ooh, now I still want to watch the show, but now I'm gonna be watching it through a different lens, because I think they said they were not gonna watch past episode 1. Welcome back, 50 Lem fam. It is D and Jay here with another set of hot takes here at the 50 Lem Chronicles. As y'all know, we discuss everything from politics to pop culture. We represent 50 Lem voices. We detail 50 Lem experiences. We have and continue 50 Lem conversations. So welcome back, and thank you for tuning in.
And that's just that on that. Boom.
Okay, so this episode here, this is one of our fun bonus episodes for this month. We're kind of thinking of this as a double dose December type of thing.
Yes.
But this episode is just going to be fun and lighthearted, and we're going to really just be talking about the family at holiday time. A lot of us have those kind of typical family members who come in with the same question. You can know what to expect about certain people when it comes time for holidays. And I think even with it being kind of one of those weird years with such weird things going on. And I mean, this is just unprecedented. I think it's important for us to always remember some of those fun times we did have with family, because, life moving forward is going to look different.
Very different.
It's going to look different. And I mean, that's just something that we all have to be honest and understand. But before we even get into the tea of the tea, let's talk a little bit about what's going on in the world. So, the first thing I feel like we just have to do as millennials, as people who grew up with this person in a lot of the imagery that has had an influence on us, Natalie DeSalle Reid, she recently passed at the age of 53 to colon cancer. And for us, I mean, for me, of course, I mean, you just can't talk about her and not bring up Babs, because clearly that was what you could consider one of the biggest and most successful things that she was able to get accomplished. And that was iconic. That is Black African princesses, right? Is that right?
Or something.
Okay.
Listen,
something like
I'm
that.
I'm old. I don't know.
But that movie was everything. That is one of my favorites. That's such a
Babs
good movie.
is when I fell in love with long nails. That Babs is the reason why I be wearing 20-inch nails because of them. I was like, yes, I love that. It's so dope. And I know it was considered ghetto, but those nails were everything. They were everything.
Definitely,
and you could tell they didn't know what to do with them.
Right, and the hair. They
the
definitely
hair
had
they
the
could
hair. The hair was woo. Talk about some type. Optical
Talk about
illusion.
the brown gel.
all types of complications. That was geometric. It was a work of art. But for me, that was also my introduction to Halle Berry. So I had not, I mean, again, remember, pretty sheltered over here. I had to culture myself a little later on down the road. But this was my introduction that I can vividly remember of Halle Berry. And so it was interesting later on seeing her in the more dramatic and action roles, being introduced to her, right? Oscar winner, being introduced to her in a comedy. But also Natalie was in, she was on Eve.
A great show.
Loved Eve.
Could have lasted longer. She was so funny on that show too. She was so funny on there.
Eve was a good show. But another one for me was the Roger and Hammerstein's Cinderella.
Mm-hmm.
Disney's
Iconic.
readaptation with had Whitney as
Yes.
the fairy godmother and Brandy as Cinderella
Yes.
and Whoopi as the queen.
Yes.
I mean, like, and then you had Natalie. She was one of the stepsisters, and they had one of the best music numbers in that when they were like talking about, you know, why did it have to be her? You know, like trying to figure out who the mystery girl is at the dance. Amazing, like amazing. It was
Lori
such a
loves
good film.
Impossible. Like we sing like she'll just randomly Impossible. Like she
Impossible.
loves to do that.
Yes. That was a good one. Yes, Impossible is so good. That was a good movie.
Rest in peace to her.
But you know, rest in peace to her, and everyone who knew her personally. Like I remember reading Hallie's tweet, but everyone who knew her personally just talked about how funny she was. Like, right. Man, I'm sick of cancer. Like it's just the worst.
Very dark.
So moving past that, another kind of eye-opening, enlightening, and even heartbreaking, I guess, statement is the fact that COVID has just been named the #1 killer of Americans for 2020, surpassing heart disease. Yes. And I just feel like this was all preventable. Like this was all, it did not have to be this. And it's heartbreaking that we've gotten to this point. I mean, there's still people who don't believe it's real. I mean, it just blows my mind.
And it's really like a combination of things, because you have a alleged leader of the government who is acting like, oh, it's not that big a deal, you guys. Forget the mask, not that big a deal. You have supporters of that person feeling like, oh, I don't need to wear a mask if I don't want to. I have rights, which is like, what does this have to do with rights, sweetie? This is about people's safety. And it's like to see people and to live in Atlanta. Anybody that has been in Atlanta during this pandemic will attest to this. Being out and about, people in Atlanta really I've seen so many people without masks. Now, there are certain establishments where it's like, you can't come in here without one. But it's like the way people are just out. I don't even think we actually had a real quarantine. Like people have just been, I'm dead serious. People have been out the entire time. And it makes me want to stay in, because it's like, I know for a fact that y'all are exposing people. And what's messed up is like, the people that are getting it are probably the people that are actually trying to be safe about it, but you have nasty people who are exposing other people. When you go to the store and you picking up items, you know you probably picking up an item from somebody who's not using sanitizer and not wearing a mask. You know what I'm saying? Like all of this could have been, if y'all would have just sat down for a little bit, chilled out for a little bit, if we actually had a leader of this country for a little bit, this all would have been avoidable. Because you look at Canada. Canada is sitting up there. Not only are they getting monthly stipends, okay, their people are getting coins. Let's be clear on that. But they were able to lower their numbers so quickly. And here we are over here in America looking stupid and losing so many of our people. I've lost people in my family to it. And it's like, for people to sit here and act like it's not real, and some of us have people in our families who have actually died from it, like it's not cool at all.
It's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, and it's not like we're telling or we're being asked to be put in hazmat suits every day and to wear oxygen tank all day. That's not what's being asked of us.
Right.
We're literally being asked to cover your face when you're in public, wash your hands, like, and keep, which you should already be doing. Each other. These are all like, and the thing about it is, like, honestly, it's not rocket science. That's what like blows my mind. Is I get if we were being asked to like solve the theory of relativity every morning. Right. Okay, that's a lot. You're asking for the most. But it's just a face covering or a mask. Wash my hands and stay away from people.
They were mad about having to stay inside, and then they're like, okay, you can go out but wear a mask. Now you don't wear your mask. What do you want?
What
do you want? Do you want COVID? Is that what you want?
Is that what it's gonna take? Like,
exactly.
It's just sad. It's so sad. And so yeah, that's part of what's going on in the world. But also there are some other things going on, and we'll talk a little bit about the entertainment realm. So the Selena series just dropped on Netflix. Are you gonna watch it?
Oh, of course. I'm gonna give
Okay,
it a
I am
chance. I'm gonna
too.
give it a chance.
I'm gonna give it a chance, but I work in an environment where there are a lot of people of different
Mm-hmm.
races, especially a lot of Hispanic people,
Very that.
from different Spanish speaking countries, and there I was, talking to someone about the show, and I was just like, I don't know if I'm. I was like, I think I'm gonna watch it. I was like, I'm gonna give it a chance because I did find out the family is like supporting the show, like it's something that they are, I guess they're getting the royalties
Mm-hmm.
and they're getting all of their due from that. So I was like, okay, if it supports the family, I'm going to check it out. And then the Hispanic girl who was there who heard me talking, she started talking to my coworker and she says, well, we watched the first episode, her and her mom, and she was like, and it's just the girl doesn't look like Selena. She looks white. I mean, it's honestly the show's whitewashed. And those were the exact words to come out of her mouth. She said the show is
Wow.
whitewashed. And this is someone whose culture it's supposed to represent.
Right.
So, like, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. When we
Listen.
see Cleopatra
We
played
black.
by
We know.
Elizabeth Taylor, we know, like Cleopatra was never supposed to be played by Elizabeth Taylor. That was
Child, look what they
never
did to
supposed to
our girl
happen.
Nina Simone.
Oh, that just breaks my heart because that should have been everything. But like when she said that, I was like, ooh, now I still want to watch the show, but now I'm gonna be watching it through a different lens because I think they said they were not gonna watch past episode 1.
Wow.
They watched that first episode and they're not watching anymore. And the show is supposed to show more of her personal life and kind of like who she was as a person that the film didn't get to show because of the length. Like, there's a lot of restrictions into film and there's a lot of things that get edited out and you just can't put everything in. So with the series, they were hoping to tell more of the story and show more of who she was.
So I'm going to ask a question that may sound like an ignorant question, but it's not. It's not coming from that place.
Okay.
So, just for clarity, because I want to understand when she said, like, for Hispanic people, because Selena was Mexican, correct?
Right. She's Mexican American.
Okay. Mexican American. I'm sorry. So when she says whitewash, does she mean that are there actually white actors playing Hispanic people, or are there like?
So no, I don't. From my understanding, the team that is acting is Hispanic. From my understanding, but I think she's saying that maybe it's makeup and lighting that she looks white.
Because I know for them, sometimes they play on their features as well to pick people who are a little lighter for them as well, and kind of have more European features. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's
just
what
for clarity.
Was saying is that, for clarity.
I didn't want to sound ignorant, but
no. I think that's important because I don't want people to go in with the perspective or to not watch it thinking that it's a Hispanic family played by white people because that's not what it is. But no. From what my understanding of what she was saying was that the cast looked very white on the lighter side of Hispanic. And so it turned her off. And I think something very interesting when it comes to the Hispanic community is being Hispanic is an ethnicity. And I heard this recently, I saw it on a post. It's an ethnicity, but the question for someone who's Hispanic is still, are you white or are you black? So I find that very interesting when it comes to bubbling in races.
Though.
The race question is still, are you white, black, Asian, Pacific Islander, Native American, etc. So I just find that very interesting because I know Hispanic people who choose to identify as white, and I know Hispanic people who choose to identify as other. So I just find that I just thought that was a very interesting point.
Very.
So yeah,
that gave
the
us something
Selena
to think about.
That does give us something to think about. But Selena series, it's out there. We'll probably, I feel like we're both gonna watch it. We can maybe review it, and maybe next year we can come back to it and just see if we're feeling the same.
Yeah.
If we agree with her perspective. So another thing, I know that you were talking about it earlier, and maybe you want to take it over here.
Yes. Oh my goodness. So Aunt Becky's daughter, Olivia Jade, I believe is her name. Laura Laura Laughlin. I say Aunt Becky because her last name I can never get right. That's the only reason why I say Aunt Becky.
I think it's Laughlin.
Laughlin. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna do them like they do us, because they swear they can't say our names, but whatever.
Laughlin.
But yeah, so Olivia Jade went to the red table with Jada, Gammy, and Willow. And now we all know Jada is all like diplomat love. Everybody deserves everybody deserves a chance. Everybody deserves a platform, openness. And Gammy was like, I ain't gonna lie, I fought tooth and nail for her not to even be here. Like Gammy was, and I understood where she was coming from, because she was coming from a place of like, to put it in perspective, basically what she was saying was like, you are this wealthy, white, privileged woman, right? YouTube with like 1.8 million followers, your family is successful. Why do you want to come here with 3 Black women? And 2, why do you deserve this platform when you have one? And it's like, she was kind of like, I really don't have space in my heart to really feel for her, especially with what's going on right now in the climate of right now in our community. It's hard for me to sit here and feel bad or feel compassion for you, because it's like, girl, you'll be all right. That's kind of where she was coming from. And to kind of put, because I don't want anybody to look at it, and she even said, like, it's not even just about race. There are people who work hard in school to get what you got, and it was taken from them because your family decided, oh, we just gonna pay somebody and you can go ahead and go. And then you get on your YouTube and you're like, oh, well, I just want to go to college for the parties. I'm not really worried about school and da-da-da-da-da. It's like, girl, what? And so, and just to put it in perspective, let's be very, very clear. So her parents are doing 2 months in prison for that. There are Black families, parents who are in jail simply for using a family member's address to get their child in a school outside of the hood and get them a better opportunity. And Gammy's whole thing is like, why does she need a platform versus these other people who are going through? And she didn't say that specific thing, but I'm just giving that example to kind of put what she's saying in perspective. You have that, and I think when that story came out, there was a story about a woman that came out and how she was in jail for using her, I think like her dad or her uncle's address to get her child into a better school. And it happens to and we all know, those of us in the Black community, we all know somebody who used an address to go to a school outside of their district, because in the South, there is districting, which is basically segregation. You know what I'm saying? And here you are, this privileged white family going to a private school and paying and lying on applications and forging documents to get yourself into a school, taking an opportunity for somebody who worked really hard for it and actually wants it. And be clear, they did it for her sister too, her older sister. So it wasn't like she was the first. They do, and she was even said on the thing. Now I'll give Olivia Jade credit. She even said there, like, this is what people in our community do, and we live in this bubble of privilege. And she was like, when it first happened, she was like, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't even realize why people were upset, why they felt like what we did was wrong. Because she said, I lived in this bubble where this is just what people do. Like, to her, it was just like, oh, my family, they just wanted me to have a good education. And it's like, well, girl, that ain't how you get it. I will give her credit to the fact that she sat there, she took it, she didn't play victim, and she really stood in it. And from what she was saying, she's learned from it, and she's outside of that bubble now, and she sees her privilege, acknowledging her privilege. So I can respect that. I can only take her truth for what she's saying. I don't know her personally to know what she's doing, but from what she said, it seems as though she at least is aware of it now. You know what I mean? So, but yeah.
All I have is a side eye for Olivia Jade, because I do agree with Gammy to a certain degree. Is there are people who, like, Red Table Talk is supposed to be like the space of redemption. That's, from my understanding, what it's supposed to be. It's the place where people go to be like, this is where I messed up, and I just got to be get me together, family, ladies. Just, I'm out here, just throwing myself out on the line.
Yeah.
And I think that it should, that because they've had the process that they've used to pick people, that it is losing a certain level of credibility. I think at some point, if they're not careful with how they do this, it'll just be like next thing we know, we're gonna see 6ix9ine on there if he hasn't already been on Red Table Talk, and it's just like, why do y'all even have a show? Now, there is one more little bit of sad news that we're gonna drop before we get into this episode, and it just hurts my heart to see that Teyana Taylor is retiring from music. I'm so sad. Like,
but seeing her career, I understand exactly where she's coming from.
Oh, I get it.
And it's like, literally, anybody who's followed her career has seen every label she's went to. It's kind of like, people give her this, she gets all this praise behind closed doors about how great she is and all of that, but she has never, not once, had a machine support and push her. I've literally watched her entire career do all that stuff herself. She literally built herself up and made herself. I don't even know why she even bothered signing to a label, to be completely honest. And I remember when Kanye was on The Breakfast Club and they was like, what are you doing with Teyana? And he made it seem like, oh yeah, y'all are right, da-da-da-da. KTSE happens, and here we are now.
Absolutely drops the ball.
You know?
Absolutely. He absolutely dropped the ball with keep that same energy. I mean, I completely agree with her perspective. I get where she's coming from. And I mean, I feel some hope in the fact that she's not giving up directing, because she does have an eye for it. She's very talented. But I was listening to her live when she was talking about it, and she was like, you've got these other artists out there, they'll have this stylist, they'll have, the choreographer, they'll have the person who helps them get the music together, they'll have the writer. She's like, I'm all of those. Like, I put all those hats on, and I do all of that for my production. Like, I have to do all of that. And she was just saying that she's never gotten the support from Def Jam that she should have had. Like, she never got the support. Never. And to put that into perspective is, you look at a Meghan Trainor, who is talented, she's gifted. You just can't deny the fact that she's gifted. Mm-hmm. But her first year out, she was everywhere. You could not turn your eye anywhere. That first album, when it came out, you could not turn and not hear All About That Bass, or Lips Are Moving, or Title, or Dear Future Husband, or any of those songs. Like, she was everywhere, and she got Best New Artist at the Grammys for it. Like, it made sense. She was in movies. Mm-hmm. That's what it looks like when a label supports an artist. Yes. That's what it looks like when a label pushes an artist. I mean, everybody remembers at one point you couldn't turn and not see her and not hear All About That Bass. You couldn't see kids not flipping upside down, spinning on their heads, gyrating their hips, talking about they're all about that bass.
Or like, even when Ariana made her transition, she was
Ariana's transition everywhere. I mean, but you see that so much more with white artists, or with, I'll not even just say white artists, with non-Black artists, especially those who are making what I would consider conscious music, or R&B, or soul, that type of music that is very rooted in Black culture. You just don't see them getting pushed like that. Like a Jasmine Sullivan, you don't see her getting pushed like how they're pushing an Adele. Like, you just don't see that. Like, and you can't say that Adele could sing Jasmine Sullivan under a bus. Like, nobody in their right mind who's assessed the voices would say that. Nobody would say that. And so it's heartbreaking, but I do look forward to seeing what she does, because she seems really excited about really wearing that director T hat, and just really taking on direction and really being a creative director. And I can see her just flourishing in that. Like, I really
and honestly, I would love to see her be able to get out of her contract, because you see it with, and it really comes down to the label. Because, like, look at Ari Lennox, look at SZA. You know what I'm saying? They came out the gate, dipped and did it, and they've been up there. You know what I'm saying? You couldn't go anywhere without seeing or hearing either one of them as well.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? So I feel like I would love to see, at least for one more album, girl. I just want you to get your chance to really be that girl. Like, I really want to see it, but I can understand for her, she can't do it with that label. Like, it's just not going to happen.
That's very true. That is very true. So I feel like we've caught them up on the world. We're going to take
Mhm.
a super quick break and we're going to get into the content that we planned for you guys today, which is just going to be talking a little bit about the holidays and our family at that time. So we'll see you guys right after this break. All right. So welcome back, 5011 fam. So we just had a quick break and here we're about to hop straight into it. We're going to talk about our families at the holiday time. How do you feel when holiday comes around? Like, and it's like, now I know this year is different,
Yeah.
with COVID, but like when
Prior
it's time
to.
to reunite with the family, like what does that feel like to you? And what are some of the things you look like most forward to?
Child, let's just start with the fact that so obviously most of my events, most of the family gatherings I go to, well, pretty much all, I'll just say that all are on my mom's side. So for me, it be a lot. Like it's all I like now let me break it down. So you have my generation of cousins. We just all like goofy, crazy. We be chilling, making fun of everybody. Boom. My mom's generation of my cousins and stuff, they be like floating in the middle somewhere. Like, but then you go up above them to like my grandma and all her sisters and all of them. And child, the foolery that trickles down at these events. And mind you,
Wow.
my great grandma had a lot of kids, and most of them are girls. So
Mm.
you can imagine what
Hmm.
goes on and how it is. And it's like, it's always, I'm not gonna get it, don't get me wrong. Like for me and my cousins, it's always fun. It's always a good time for us because we really just be sitting back, cackling and laughing. But we always know there's going to be something. Somebody's gonna be the victim, somebody gonna have something to complain. It's always gonna be something. It's just a matter of which one and what it's gonna be. But you can tell by which one it is what they gonna be given. Like it's always something. Always.
So with my family, like we're a pretty close family. Like when we have like our bigger family gatherings, it's like my mom, all of her sisters and the grandmom and like all the cousins, and there's sometimes like 50 of us at a dinner, like or more. It's
Hmm.
a pretty big family.
Yeah, that's ours is
Now
too.
when it's just like my mom's, like when it's just us, like our little chunk of the family, because my mom, like I said, she's got four sisters, there's five of them total. My cousin always says we have the biggest clan, which is kind of funny because there's a bunch of us, like there's a bunch of the Bradfords. There's a
Hmm.
bunch of us, and so when we get together, it's a whole different type of it is so funny because I just come from such a funny, crazy, weird family. Like, we're all just weirdos in the best of ways. Like, I mean, we'll do stuff like I remember at Thanksgiving, and we do stuff like this all the time. And sometimes, like, we'll confuse, like, so we were sitting around at my uncle's house and we were watching Jeopardy. And a couple of us were like really into it, like me, my brother, I think my mom, we were all like trying to figure out the clues and trying to get the words. We were like, what is, obsidian? So, just like, we're just like yelling at the TV. And then I just hear my sister going like, are we watching Jeopardy? And like, she just had that moment where she just realized like, we're watching Jeopardy. And everybody's like, yeah, I guess we are. And then they're like, ooh, yeah. And then like, it was just weird. Like we just we'll play Scrabble or we'll play games or we do a lot of family feuding or
Hmm.
different things like that. We just have one of those really looking forward to having a good time type of
Yeah.
families.
Our
So we
game
all
was Family Feud.
we
That was
love some
ours.
Family Feud.
Yeah, ours was
We
Family Feud. My auntie would always bring her Family Feud when she like when the Wii first came out. That's when it really all
mm-hmm.
started. So like Family Feud was like the thing. And then when we were kids, like me and my cousins, so when it was like as far as like my mom and her siblings, when all of us used to go to my grandma's house during the summer, and we would
Mm-hmm.
have Uno tournaments. It was all about
Oh
Uno. And
yes,
now that we're older, you go to a black gathering, it's spades. But back
it's
then,
spades. Yeah,
it was Uno.
I just don't partake in the spades.
Oh,
Now
I
when we
felt it
go,
coming.
I can't. The thing about it is, I am a decent stand-in partner. Like, oh, you need somebody to fill the seat while so and so runs to the bathroom. Oh, I got you. I got you, but you want me to play a couple rounds? Oh no, I'm not your person.
Oh no, I'll be with it.
I'm not. No, my brother. Now I do have like my brother, I have a cousin Trina, a couple of my uncles and my dad. They love some spades. My brother, it's so funny because my mom is always having to tell him to calm down. Or like I remember we were at the family reunion and he gets real loud and a lot of the N words starts flying. And my brother, if you were to look at us, you could tell we're brothers. But it's funny because like our personalities are so alike but so different. My brother's just so much louder than I am, and he's a lot more rambunctious, I guess is the
That's
good
like
word.
me and
Like
Brittany, but obviously
yes,
I'm the loud
actually,
one.
no, on it, no, it's the same because he's my younger brother and Brittany's your older sister. Yeah, it's just like that. So and my brother, it's just so funny. So he'll get real loud, and we were at the family reunion, and we were in the hotel lobby, and I just remember my mom telling me like, "Go sit by your brother. Like, I think he needs you to calm him down." And he always calls me his good luck charm. So I just go over there and I sit by him, and I'm like, "You good, bro?" He was like, "Somebody must have sent you over here to tell me to calm down." And I'm like, "Yeah, you get a little hype. They're just making sure you're good." He's like, "I'm good. We just whooping them." Like he was just, but like they get serious about spades in our family. Like, especially when we go, because we do family reunions. We were supposed to do one this year. We do them every 2 years, every even year. And we'll meet somewhere, and it's like our family from Jersey, our family from Detroit, our family from Tennessee, Texas, a big chunk from Alabama. We come from a lot of different places. We go somewhere, we parlay, we have a good time. Every time it's always spades tournaments, like hours of spades. And I just go and preoccupy myself with something.
No, I love a good spades game. Listen. I mean, because I'm more of like, for me, it'd be like the puzzle of it all. Like it's the game of it for me. It's the sport of it for me. Like I love it. Don't let me start win. Listen, I'll be just like your brother. Like yo, but we whooping on them over here.
Okay,
though.
got you. Yeah, you want
like I'll be doing all the cussing stuff. But listen, I would be talking trash though.
Oh yeah, my brother talks so much trash. But especially when it's him and our cousin Trina, who's actually like our dad's cousin. Oh, you get the two of them on a team at a table and they sit for a minute and people start getting mad because they're good. Like they got real good table chemistry. They're just real good and people can't really touch them. I got to give them their credit. Got you. Now, is there anybody in your family who like usually kicks off the game, or is it just kind of like an understanding? Like, all right, where's the cards? It's about that time.
So it kind of depends. So it's so weird with my family because I'll just say this: people in my family that's listening, y'all know who I'm talking about when I say the Holmans. Okay, there's a clan, the Holmans. It's one of my grandma's sisters, her kids and their kids. Listen, if my cousin Juan or my cousin Nicole, the game is getting kicked off. Especially my cousin Juan, he gonna come with the cards like who's trying to play, who's on whose teams. Who know how to play? Like his mom be with it. She be ready. Like when I tell you, them homies be ready to play somebody's spades. Okay, they be with it. That 9 times out of 10, they the ones got the cards. Especially my cousin Juan. If ain't no cards there, he gonna be like, "Who finna run to the store get some cards?" Like, what we doing? Like they stay with it, and I love that.
Yeah, well, in my family, like, of course, with the spades, it just kind of kicks off pretty organically. Usually, someone be like, "Hey, I got my cards," and then next thing you know, it's over. But my sister, and I know my sister is listening. Yes, I'm talking to you, Kia. I know you're on here. She is the board game queen. She's always coming up with some kind of game or bringing something we've tabooed, we've Pictionary'd. We've all types of like heads up and I mean like all the games. My sister and I think that's part of where I get it from. Yeah. Even back to when we were talking about music on the other episode, is also about how much I love the female voice. The 2 voices I grew up with first were my sisters and my mom's. And they both have these beautiful voices and they used to sing all the time. So that's part of why I love music. But my sister is like, okay, so she's a Sag. So 2 fire signs. We were on the same side of the house. So we had this whole side of the house on fire. But we're so similar because she got me onto a lot of different things. So like Selena. Like, she's the reason I love Selena. Like, she'd always
Yeah.
be like, hey, Selena's on, you would come watch it. That's the only time I would like get permission to come in her room, is to either watch Selena or to watch Dirty Dancing. I had to get
Oh,
permission
I
because
love
we
Dirty
fought.
Dancing. I
Yes, we
own
fought
Dirty
all the
Dancing.
time. Yes, I have. Yeah, come on now. And what's love got to do with it? Because she knows
Yes.
I love some. What's love got to do with it? But my sister by far is the queen of the games. Like, she is always kicking off the games. Like, okay, we're
If
gonna
y'all
play
ever
this.
trying to lose in Monopoly, call me because I'm a beast on the board.
Oh, I can now. I
Okay,
can play some. I can play some
a
Monopoly.
beast.
I can play Monopoly. I'm really good for like trivia games. Like, that's when they're like dying to get me on somebody's team, because I can play a trivia game.
Have you ever played Cranium?
Ooh, if I have, it's been a minute.
We have got, so in our household, with our immediate household, my mom is all about the games. Like, we literally, at our old house in Milwaukee, there was like this little chest, built-in chest by the fireplace. It was full of games, like full of games. Like, that was literally our thing. Like, my mom would invite all her friends over and they would play like Pacino. One time we played Cranium. Like, we be with it with the games. If you ever trying to lose, let me know. But Cranium is so fun, and it has like a bunch of different categories. But when I tell you, it is so freaking fun. And then I used to always, so they would always, my mom would do like these dinner parties, right? And so they would always play Pacino. And basically Pacino, it's like poker, but with a bingo board. And you have to like match the cards and all this stuff like that. And so now at the time, I was, you know how you stay up later to be around the adults and you be real quiet.
You want to be nosy.
And so my godmom, she would always, slide me some quarters so I could start participating. I'd be real quiet playing the game. And the biggest pot that would always would be the cup that had 4 corners, because it was so hard to get the 4 corners. So it would just build and build and build, because if nobody gets it, it just stays for the next round. So the money just starts to accumulate. Child, one time I hit that 4 quarters and everybody looked like, why is she still up? Why is she even? Because I had just been sitting there quietly playing the game, like
just
next round. Like, love it. I love a good game. I love a good game. I would definitely tear y'all up in some Monopoly, because I remember one time I broke my mama and Brittany in Monopoly. Broke them down.
That's how, like, I used to be really good. I haven't played Monopoly in a minute, but I used to be really good at Life too. Like, Life used to be my thing. Like, I used to kill at Life. People used to hate me when it came to Life. Because I'd always get a good job. I would get stuck with a lot of kids, but I'd always get a good job. And I'd be like, yes, okay, let's just, all the monies, run me my check, thank you.
Because that job be what make or break you. Like, if you get that good job, oh, you lit.
See, I was playing the one where you go to college, and then after you go to college, you get like the little bonus on. Yes. Oh, yes. Yep. I was ready.
One time, Brittany, literally, her kids were like stacked in the car. Like, she didn't have no more spaces left, but she just kept having kids. And look at the irony of me being the first one to have a kid.
Right. That's so funny. Okay. Another thing that always happens is, of course, we're going to get into a holiday favorites where we talk about foods and whatnot later. But I always get asked one of 3 questions. Do you know who cooked the blank? Or did you cook the blank and blank? Or what's your mama cook? I always get those questions. Or what did you cook? I'll throw that 4th one in there. Always. And usually it's my brother, or I call him my partner in crime, one of my first cousins. We're super close. They're always like, you know who cooked the did mama cook the dressing? Is that who cooked? Oh, okay. It is an important question. But what I love about my family is, like, just about everybody can throw down in the kitchen. Now there is, I shouldn't say this because the rest of my family's going to know who I'm talking about.
Say it, because I'm going to expose somebody too.
I'm going to say it, and we're just going to let it go. There's somebody in our family who, oh gosh, there's somebody in our family who cooks wings, and we always know when this person has cooked the wings, and we just kind of leave them alone because they don't be looking like the most appetizing wings, and they don't taste like the most appetizing wings either. They're light on the sauce, they're light on the cook, they're just light all around.
Why they keep bringing them?
I don't know. I
You
don't
don't
know who
realize
keeps
you keep
asking
taking your
them.
dish home full?
Because I know the thing about it is the dish doesn't go home full. We do. There's always a couple people who always forget, and they just end up with like 3 or 4 of them on their plate, and they're like, "Dang, I forgot." Because I remember we were at one dinner and we saw him, and somebody was behind me in line. It was like my brother, I think, or one of my cousins. They were behind me in line, and they saw me skip past them. And they're like, Jay loves wings. Like, they're just thinking, like, why did he didn't get any wings? I'm like, I'm gonna get some wings. So they get some, and we go and sit down, and they're like, why you didn't get no wings? Like, you didn't get any. I said, oh no, I saw their plate, and I was like, oh, you got some of the wings, and they were
Feeling
like,
adventurous.
they were like, yeah, I like hot wings, and I was like, oh, you do now, do you? I was like, that's gonna be a different wing. Like, and it's weird because it's fully cooked. I mean, it's not undercooked or anything. It's fully cooked, but I've never had a chicken wing taste like, oh, this is gonna sound so bad, a spicy Vienna sausage. It's just the
Ugh.
weirdest thing. It's just so
Maybe
okay,
it's
we're
the
gonna leave it alone.
seasoning.
I don't know. It's the whole process for me. It's the whole
Mm.
process for me.
Mm-mm.
Because I take my
Mm-mm.
chicken wings so serious. Like when I
As you
cook
should.
wings, I take it so seriously. But that breaks my heart.
Sausage? Why is your wing tasting like
It just tastes like
ah?
maybe not Vienna sausage, but like tuna's not any better. It just doesn't taste like
Not like
chicken.
chicken,
It's just
basically.
it
Tastes like canned meat. Is
just
the gist of what you're
yeah.
saying?
Like if you
Like
could
spam.
if you could buy canned wings, that might be what these taste like.
Dead. I'm
That
dead.
was so trifling. If my family is listening to this, don't y'all dare say anything to the person because y'all know who I'm talking about. And
Why do they keep? Somebody needs
there's
to
no
though.
chance of that person hearing this podcast. But don't y'all tell them anything.
Somebody needs to tell them to
We're
stop
gonna
bringing
let
wings.
that person keep cooking wings, and it's gonna be
No.
fine. No, because if you knew who it was, you would understand why nobody says anything. Everybody's just
Okay.
like,
Because that's why
it's
I'm
okay.
like, I'd be the
It's
first one
gonna
like, who cooked? See, my
no.
family
Everybody's
is
just gonna
so
like.
different. Listen, when I tell you, people in my family do not listen, my great grandma does not have a filter. She is known in the town. Like, everybody know, don't bother her, don't mess with her, because she ain't with it. And she will get you together and she will let you know very quickly, and she will not hold back. No filter at all. You can't bring no trash chicken wings to our family gathering because somebody is gonna be like, who cooked that? Like, somebody's gonna say it out loud in front of everybody, and you're gonna have to stand in it, and then you're gonna get roasted because we are gonna make fun of you. We gonna laugh, we're gonna cackle. Half of us gonna be high, so we really gonna cackle. You can't, like, you cannot do that in my family. And so the thing with my family, it used to be, so my great grandma at her old house, there was across like the driveway was like a cafe, because my great grandma used to do like fish plates and stuff. Like, she cook. And so
Mhm.
most of her kids can cook. You hear my voice because you know it's a
Yeah.
lingering kid that we don't
Uh-oh.
want what she bringing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember one time when we came down here to Atlanta and my sister got sick off her cooking. Like, we don't, she ain't with, but most of her kids can cook. So like, it would be, and usually it'll be like the women are usually the ones cooking in our family.
Mm-hmm.
So at first when she had the cafe, it was like everybody would go out to the cafe and it would always be, I mean, the food was always popping because my great grandma is the type, she still to this day will cook. Like, it's been times where I've came and she be like, well, I ain't cooking. I'm like, girl, you're 90. I didn't expect you to cook me. Girl, I wasn't looking for that. But let me
Oh.
tell you, she still can bust it down if she wants to. Like, and then so once like she started getting older and like other stuff was going on and stuff like that, they started having stuff at my aunt's house, who is next door to her, because there's like a whole road of my family members where like we own a whole bunch of land or whatever. So there's like a whole road of like her kids in their houses. And so we started doing it at my aunt's house, and she can listen. My people in my family used to have restaurants. Like, they cook. Like, it's some cooks in my. One of my aunts, like, she used to work at like the casino and it like was cooking and all. They cook. You know what I'm saying? So it's like majority of the time, if those certain people is cooking, we know it's gonna be bust down. I remember one time the men had the responsibility of like, I think they were supposed to be like barbecuing or something like that. Child, child, the treachery. Some of it was, but it was like, what? Now, some of the men in my family can cook. Like my cousin Chris, he busts down. Like listen, if he cooking, I'm always there. I'm always there. I want to see what he got going on. There, like some of the men can cook. My Uncle Junior make the best sloppy joes ever created on the planet of the earth. You know what I'm saying? But some of them missed the marks because they mamas cook so good. Some of them didn't get that.
So they never had to, yeah.
Some of them did not get that. And it's like, and then they not used, I guess maybe they wasn't used to having to like coordinate the events because the women usually did. Like my grandma and her sisters usually do all the coordinating and stuff like that. So I'm like, but it's like y'all missing the mark. And our family is the type that we're going to let you know you missed the mark. See, our problem ain't who cooked it. Our problem is who didn't bring nothing and taking a bunch. Because we got this one auntie.
Oh yeah.
She always, not only do she leave with a bunch of plates, she always brings people with her. She don't bring nothing to the party. She always one of the last ones to come, and she always comes with some people and maybe they kids, and it'd be like, and everybody's making plates, and she comes in like she did something and be like, oh yeah, y'all go ahead and make your plates. Girl, what did you bring? Y'all came late with nothing. What?
She brought guests.
What did you do?
That's what she did. She brought guests.
She could have kept those guests.
Yeah, I have there's a family member though who, when they fix plates, we just look and we're just like, are you going to really eat all of that? And then we're like, you just might. It's a lot, like, and we just let it be, like, you know. Ooh,
you can tell the difference in our families, because my family don't let nothing be. They don't let nothing.
And see, I
be.
think my thing about like my family is we do have those moments where things. I mean, and it's not even those moments because we have those family members who will call everything out. Like one of my uncles, everything, nothing's safe, nobody's safe. It doesn't matter, and he's always on 1,000, and I love it. And my dad can be like that. My dad's my dad's pretty funny with it. So he doesn't always come off as it like he's on you, but he'll get on people real quick. And then of course, like my cousins, but for the most part, I think everybody just kind of like chills because we just have a good time. We'll crack some jokes. We'll eat some good. I think that's what it is we just really be eating. Cause like my Aunt Deborah, she makes this dressing that will shut everybody up. It doesn't matter. You know, like it doesn't matter what's going on. It doesn't matter what's on TV. When you got the dressing and you got the gravy, everything is life. It all makes sense. It all comes back together. We got some family members who got like a couple of signature dishes, you know. I might be known to throw down with a little mac and cheese. You know, I might have a 6 cheese recipe or whatever. I might sometimes, you know, spice it up like that. But other than that, but okay, before we get out of here, is there anybody in your family who, because I have somebody in my family who's always late to every function. And it's one of my, I love my uncle and this part of my family so much, but they're literally late to I think there might be one function they were on time. And it was because we were all already at the house. Like we stayed there the night before. So it wasn't any you being late to get here because we all stayed here. No, I'm picking. But like literally they're late to everything. Yeah. Like everything.
I definitely.
It starts at 11 and they're getting ready.
No, 11. I have a cousin, like my cousin Derek, he is always late to the function. Always, my whole life. Because he's my mom's generation. My whole life. I remember as a kid, he was just always one of the last folks to pop up and show up. And even now, like, because the aunt that I was telling you we have the stuff at is his mom. He stay literally, like, if you go to the backyard, take a left, boom, there he is. But even still, it'd be like, where he at? Where he ain't here yet? And he be somewhere doing his own thing, living his. I be with it because I love him. He's
Living
like
his
one of
best
my
life.
favorite
Love it.
cousins, but he always be late. And my auntie be late too. Kim, girl, you be late, girl. You be late to the party. I don't
Oh
know about
yeah.
now because I ain't been around recently, but she used to always be late to the party too. Probably used to be with him for all we know.
A mess. A mess. Anything else you want to add, like that you can think of when it comes to like family at the holiday time?
I'm just like so tickled at how different, and you know how I am. Like you know me, so you know
Mm-hmm.
my level of filter, and to think that there are people that are worse. There are people
Because
that
this
are
is
worse.
true.
Because I'm
Your
tamed.
filter is, yeah.
I'm a
Uh,
tamed version of what I come from. Like I've over the years have tried to gain somewhat of a filter. So I'm like a tamed version of what and know me behind the
right.
podcast. Like
Right. I love it.
so
So,
imagine
oh
me
wow.
without nothing, like
I
just no
just
holds
wonder,
barred.
how does Brittany survive? How does, because Brittany is so just
Not it.
all
Brittany
the way
always says like, I
introverted,
don't know
all the
how I'm
way.
related to y'all.
I mean, I see how Brittany could be the black sheep, because if they're more turned than you, then I'm like, Brit is just quiet off to the side.
Literally. Literally, like she's
uh,
never like she don't be in the mix of like she might be up to the side like laughing or looking like, oh my god, how am I related to these people? Like that's literally her at the family function.
yeah, I just, maybe it's just as I've gotten older, I don't know. I just remember, and I feel like I talked about this recently with my brother. Um, I just feel like as we get older, it's not as fun as it used to be. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if I just, maybe it's because we were young and
Same.
we really didn't have a sense of like
What was
time,
really going
and
on too?
we didn't know what was really going on. We were just present. We were so mindful.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's something that I'm actively trying to get back to, is that presence and that mindfulness, because I feel like in those moments you really enjoy life the most.
Mm-hmm.
And I think especially with what this year has taught us is, you gotta find the small joys in every
Very
day,
that.
because you never know when your reality could just get
Very that.
shaken up at its core.
And that's like
You just never
something.
know.
Yeah, that's something me and my cousins we talk about all the time, is how like a lot of us don't really come, like when we were kids we were always there, and a lot of
Hmm.
us don't really come around anymore because it's like now that we're older everything seems so different, and it's like when you a kid like it's easy to like cackle and laugh and do all that, but once you get older and you really see and you start to wake up your own consciousness to certain things, some stuff, even though it's easy, because I ain't gonna lie, a lot of us be on the cannabis, so we do be laughing, but some stuff it be like, bro, we don't even feel like dealing with all this drama, or we don't feel like going and do it. Be a lot sometimes that we just don't even feel like being bothered with it, so a lot of us don't sometimes even come around. Now I will say
Hmm.
recently, a lot of my cousins stuff they've been gathering and things, but I'm like, y'all not giving me COVID, so I'm good.
Right. That's what I was going to
I
ask
don't
you.
see
Is
enough
like,
masks in the pictures.
what
I'm good.
have do y'all have anything planned for like Christmas, or for like the holiday time? I guess at this point, are y'all gonna do anything, or is it just gonna be like y'all's little unit? What do you have y'all planned anything?
Well, like my family as a whole, like all it's always every year, it's always something. Like
Something,
and
yeah.
it's always in the same area at least. But there's every year is like there's always a plan. But
Hmm.
for me and my immediate personally, I'm just I'm just not, and they in Mississippi, so I'm really just not
Yeah,
with.
yeah,
I don't want the corona. I just
yeah.
don't.
I understand. I don't either.
I do
My
want to see
family,
my mom. Like we kind of
we're all
been
just
trying to
doing
plan
something.
that, but
Hmm.
I'm just even Thanksgiving. Like I went to Asia's and had a ball. Let's be clear, but
Hmm.
I'm just not. And I know everybody ain't nobody even really seen a Lori. To be honest, a lot of my family members have never seen a Lori.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel so blessed. I've seen her two or three times now.
Right.
um, wow, yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I don't know what all we're gonna do. I know we're gonna keep it small. that's like been my big thing. And normally we would go and spend some time with like my stepdad, his family, and but I'm not even doing that this year. My cousins, we normally do a stay the night thing, Christmas Eve night, and we all wake up and the family comes over for Christmas breakfast. Um, I mean, we might do some version of that because it's not a lot of us. But I don't know.
I have a question for you before we go. Just
Yeah.
because now that we're the adults, the young adults in our family, can you imagine, what do you think holidays are going to look like 20 years from now for us, when it's going to be kind of our responsibility to create those traditions?
I feel like 20 years from now, well, prayerfully, Corona will be all the way gone.
Hello.
And we won't have to worry about traveling with masks.
Hello.
And I just see us catching planes. That's what I see. I would see that for the holiday time. I see catching planes and being like, fam, how does Bali sound?
Yes!
You know, like that's what I see in 20 years.
Yes.
And I'm like, we're gonna escape. I'll meet y'all there. You know, it's on me. You know, it's on me.
Yes,
just get there.
We got the same visions.
That's what I see. I don't like. For me, I know that things are evolving in life, and I think we have a certain responsibility. And I look at it like this: I want to take my family to a whole different level and different status in life, and I'm just gonna speak what I want for them. Is I want to be able to be like, everybody, we're going to Spain for a month. You know, I just want to throw it out there and be like, y'all ain't got to worry about nothing. You know, like, and I mean, a month might be a lot to spend a lot of time with my family, but you know, maybe we'll talk about a weekend or a week. Let's say a week. We'll push it for a week, and that'll be a good holiday plan. But you know, I would rather it be that. Because I do feel that how I envisioned and how I grew up is not going to be the reality for much longer. And what was the family function, the family gathering when we were children is not going to be that for much longer either. And I'm okay with that as long as it's going in the frequent flyer miles direction, you know?
Yes. I totally.
So, yeah.
And for me, it's like a lot of the people, well, I'm saying a lot, like I got like 11 friends. You know me, I keep it very small, but the people that I have are like my family to me. Like I consider y'all more my family. No shade to my real family. Like, them my peoples. I love my family. But I've created like a village around myself. Yeah. And a safer space around myself with people who are like, I don't want to say like-minded, but people who kind of want to go in the same direction and wants their life to go in the same direction. There are certain things that for me, I'm just like, I can't see myself. And even with me now having a Lori, I'm like, I don't want her around certain stuff. Or certain dynamics, and we're definitely going to get into that on another, but there's certain dynamics and certain things that I grew up seeing and experiencing. I don't want her to have those because I now see that they're toxic. And you know, you can't change what's already set in stone, but you have complete control of what you create. So I'm with you. I see traveling, I see being like, and I very much see myself now. My siblings on my dad's side, we're making like a very big effort for us to get closer. And I really feel like that's probably what it's going to look like for me going forward, is spending more time with my other siblings. I feel like that's probably what it's going to be. Because I don't have those holiday memories with my siblings. And it's messed up, but I don't. So, you know,
I don't have any with mine. You know, on my mom's side, I don't either. And like you said, and for y'all, the next episode after this, we'll be talking a lot more about the Black family dynamic, or our personal family dynamics, and how the effect that has on an individual. But even for me, like that, it just speaks volumes of how much we are like. I was saying that last episode, but whereas you in your it's your paternal side of your family that you didn't get a lot of time with. I haven't gotten a lot of time with my biological maternal side, so I don't really know my biological mom and those, like the siblings I have on that side. I've gotten to meet one of them, but I don't really know that side. So even that has had effects on both of us. So that's
Yeah.
something we'll get into for sure with the next episode.
Yes.
But this has been fun, having like this little bonus episode, a little extra little hour of content for the peoples. Let them know something,
shaking the family tables, as K Michelle
right?
say, shaking the table. But I don't care. My family ain't got no filter. Y'all know I don't care. So if you feel some type of way, I don't care. Find me on Facebook. I'll tell you on there I don't care.
Look at me.
At me.
I'm just, don't y'all tell the chicken wing family member nothing. I'm not playing with y'all. All right. So now we're going to do our For the Culture as we do every week. And before I let you go, Dee, I'm actually really excited to shout out my Black business for this week. It is Balance and Blow. That is this brand through one of my friends of a friend. Her name is Tay. And it's really focused on yoga and meditation and mindfulness. So it is an apparel line. They actually just launched a new line recently. You can find them on IG. They've got the coolest little hoodies, these cute little cropped hoodies with the cute little sayings on them, like little prayer beads and bracelets. And there's even belly beads and all types of little fun things. And if I'm not mistaken, she also hosts yoga and meditation classes. So I just think it's the coolest little yoga centered. And I think anything that is perfect for Black people to focus on spirituality and kind of some form of mindfulness and being present and alert. I think those are great things for us to highlight in the community. So yes, Tay, we see what you're doing. So shout out to Balance and Blow. You can also find them at their website, balanceandblow.com, or on Instagram. Who you got for us this week, Dee?
Okay, so I have a Black-owned food company with Cicely Sierra from 101.
Yes, 101.
So she
it's on
has
Netflix right now.
It is. So shout out to Cicely, girl. Get that coin. Right. So that's Food Plus People. That's the name of the company, Food Plus People. And what's super dope about them, not only is it a Black-owned food company, if you go on their site, like you can chop, they have like fried chicken seasoning mixes, rubs, all that type of stuff. But for them, it's all about giving that quality food to the community. They're all about the community, all about the people. So that's always great, especially in this climate. And for them, it's about like building relationships with farmers and focus on like getting food from different growers and kind of building that type of relationship and getting like cultural food experiences, because a lot of our people, we even live in like drought areas where they don't have access to quality food, and quality food should be a right. Quality food should be a right. You know what I'm saying? So that's Food Plus People. You can follow them on Instagram, Food Plus People _. That's Food Plus People _. Don't forget your underscore. And you can go to the site, foodpluspeople.com, shop some of their different mixes. They have tutorial videos for you guys to check out. They do have a GoFundMe. So definitely, if you have it to give, go ahead and support. Again, foodpluspeople.com, and shout out to Cicely. She's a chef and she's dope. Love it.
Love it. Love it. We see you, Cicely. We see you, Tay. We shout out our Black businesses this week. Well, I think this has been another fun hour of just talking about family, just having a good time. And as always, I have a blast with you, Dee. But to our 5011 fam out there, if you haven't heard it this week, if no one's told you lately, we love you and we thank you for the support and we appreciate you. And we look forward to seeing you again, not next week, but in 2 days.
2 days.
Yes. So we will see you. We will see you on Thursday. We're looking forward to it, guys. And thanks again for tuning in to this episode of the 5011 Chronicles.
Oh my God, love you.